everyone, welcome back to the Spark Show. As we all know that agriculture has been with us more than 10,000 years. Today we're going to talk about its technology that makes our life a lot easier. And our guest is here with us today. Please welcome Mr. Matas. Hello.
Hello, สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ It's very great to have you here with us today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Before we're going to talk about Agri-Tech, I would like to know more about your story.
Sure. I'm happy to share. So I have been living in Thailand for the last 8 years already. I came here by chance, to be honest. I was studying in UK and I was a bit bored of Europe and I had some friends in here who were working on their startup project. So I just joined in. I was planning to stay here maybe a few months. I didn't have a big plan. But once I arrived, we started to work, and things caught up, and it just happened that I'm here already 8 years, and my business is here, my family is here, so it's my home now.
So why agricultural? Do you have any passion for it when you were young?
That's quite a story. I was never like a farmer. I was never passionate about it. My background is in business development and acting, and I do theater, films, and things like that. So that is not really related. But since I live in Thailand, I work with innovation, technology, with several universities and science parks. And agriculture came quite naturally. I was working with food and brands, and I had a chance to start peeking into agriculture, seeing technology related to agriculture, and through the time, it became my passion.
I think our audience want to know more about Agri-Tech. What is it exactly?
I'm also learning all the time. I'm also learning more and more about agriculture. So I go to a lot of events to meet farmers and see what is farming in Thailand is way different what is farming, let's say, in US or Europe. Different culture and different tools that they're using. So technology, like you mentioned, agriculture has been for 10,000s of years. A shovel is a technology for someone. But what we are looking in today is kind of a new age, sensors that they can detect the quality of the soil, nutrition, drone technology that could spray, let's say, fertilizers or pesticides. And we have satellites in the space where they can detect and spot, problems in the crop, predict the yield. So there's a lot of things that could be added in many different layers of agriculture. Genetical modified crops as well is also a technology. So it's a lot of things. But what we call Agri-Tech, we try to find new tools that would be as resilient as a shovel and as easy to use as a shovel. When we come to the farmer with satellite, they don't need it. But we try to present it in a way that they would understand and would use.
Can you give me more example of the techniques or maybe equipment that is relevant to this Agri-Tech?
We need to look firstly in the profile of farmer in Thailand and like whole Southeast Asia. A majority of the farmers are smallholders, so they have 4 or 5 acres of land, or let's say around 20-30 rai. And majority of farmers in Thailand, they have rice, sugarcane, cassava, corn. These are the majority. So with that amount of land and the crops that they're growing, to afford technology, to afford new tools is almost impossible. So this is the problem, that there is a lot of things around that could help, but it's just impossible to afford. So our goal is to bring it more like in a sharing economy type of life, that everyone could afford the latest technology and use just a little bit when they need, and that helps them to get to know it, trust it, and to try it for the first time.
From what I've seen from Agri-Tech is that drones has been using a lot, and I heard that drones can be controlled from mobile phone or something like that. Can you maybe explain more on that?
So there are several different types of drones. The one that we are promoting and using are the sprayer drones. So these are big machines. They can lift from 10 to 50 kilograms, liters of liquid. So that helps us to spray whatever is liquid. So it could be hormones, pesticides, fertilizers, a lot of different chemicals that helps improve the quality of the crop and resilience. We also use drones which are smaller and helps us to scan the crops and the fields, so it helps us to measure the flight maps. It helps us to see they can detect, let's say, damage to the crop, illness, or they could validate like insurance claims and other things. So there's a different type of drones for different purposes. What we try to do is create the ecosystem that could utilize all of it.
I see. Apart from drones, what do you see is coming next in this AgriTech?
Well, there are a lot of equipment that could be used, like tractors, different big machinery. But with having small size of farm, it's very difficult to bring them into those farms, and it economically doesn't make sense. So still, farmers use manual labor and tools to harvest, to plant, because it's just impossible to bring in big machines. So I think that robotics and new type of smaller mobile unmanned equipment is going to be growing more. So now we have flying drones, but there's also machines that could be on the ground. You can also operate with remote controls, and they could do different type of spraying, seeding, harvesting. So I think that this is going to be one of the direction, to create more mobile and accessible equipment. Talking about satellites, there's a lot of there as well, a lot of intelligence that could help to predict the yield, spot the issues, and also measure. So let's say when we spray now, we track what type of brand of chemical farmer is using, how many liters of chemicals they're using. We know where they are spraying that thing. So for now, we just record it, we track it, we gather data. But through the satellite, we can see which product is performing better. So next time we can tell farmer, look, your neighbor in another province was using this, and it helped them to solve the problem. So, rather than gambling and using some random product, why don't you use this? Because of data, not because we're sales. It's more like a targeting issue, like doctor or pharmacist prescribing medication towards your needs.
I can see that. But I would like to know more about farmers in Thailand. When you come in the beginning to teach them how to use AgriTech, how did they take that?
Well, yeah, this is challenging, and this is something that we're still also learning to solve, because majority of the farmers' average age of Thai farmer is 55 years old. So we do had like recently we had an event where we wanted to teach about technology. The youngest participant was 65 years old. They don't have smartphones, they don't have internet, they don't have connectivity. So all the plan to promote these big things, it doesn't make sense. So our mission is actually, now I'm going to do a bit of pep talk, is to make everyone a farmer. Like you, me, we want to be able to allow us and empower younger generation to do farming remotely. It means that if you have a relative or you have a neighbor that you want to help who is over 65, you can help them to book them. You could book service for them. You could track their yield. You could track their crops. You could alarm them that, oh, there's an issue. Maybe you should talk to someone to help you to sort it out. So this is what we aim to develop, is all of us, especially younger generation, to look into farming not as something where you have to be in the field, something that could be fun, gamified, full of technology, robotics, and actually adding to the society. So instead of buying NFT, you should rent a land plot and plant a crop.
So basically what you're saying is that I could be sitting at home using my phone and then just water my plants.
Correct. It will take time. We are looking 5 to 10 years to fully develop these things. But in general, if just scenario could be like this. You rent a land plot on a phone somewhere in Nan, in a beautiful place. You book soil nutrition evaluation. Someone comes to measure the soil, suggests you what crop you should plant. Then you book crop planting. Someone plants the crop. Then you take care by spraying with drones, and then you book harvesting, and then you sell. And that is something that we're heading towards.
That sounds really easy for me, but even though I have my own grandma and teaching her how to use smartphone is, challenging.
So I think that you're right. And basically, once we launched, we started as a web app. But through the time, we saw that we need to also cater simpler ways. So we have a call center. We have a lot of assistance available as well. We create profiles for older generation farmers. They don't need to think about it, but these profiles help us to track the progress and suggest them. One mission is to educate current generation still. We need to try, we need to help and work together, but the second challenge is to build a new generation, new farmers.
I would like to know more about sustainability. How has it improved sustainability?
Sustainability is one part. I think I would like to name other big issues that we're trying to work on. So one of them is aging society. So overall in Asia, society is aging, and we're getting older. So soon there is not going to be enough people to do manual labor. Another part is related to sustainability. Is that by 2050, global population could reach up to 10 billion people. So our agriculture needs to produce at least 50% more output to have enough food. Currently, we have 800 million people starving. 500 million people are facing acute hunger because of war currently happening in Europe. Creating and adding this technology, it helps in a lot of small steps that altogether helps to improve sustainability. Let's say current way of spraying pesticide, farmer puts the backpack and he walks around and he sprays. So one thing, we don't know what he is spraying and where he is spraying, and usually they overuse, and that damages the soil. After 10 years or so, the soil might be too damaged to produce crop. So they need to move location, and that creates a lot of deforestation because we need to cut trees, we need to do a lot of logistics as well. So that creates longer routes, more fuel, more damage to the planet. That's where the technology and new tools are handy. It helps to reduce fuel consumption. It's way faster. It's more effective. It produces more yield per rye. So that also, it's just more profitable if we're talking about money, but it's just more food, more output.
So how do you plan to educate younger generations in this AgriTech?
Well, so I think that is a layered thing that we're trying to develop. So first of all, our system and tools, so that the brand itself, the communication that we have is towards younger generation, towards the farmer. We're also promoting a lot culture, Thai culture. We don't want to take that out of people. We want to be part of it. We respect the tradition. We respect the knowledge of farmers, and we gather it. We just systemize it. And our major goal towards the future is to gamify. So if you know a game like Farmville or Sims, you play, you see the world, and you can play that. This is something that we want to bring into agriculture. So you have real farm, but in your device it looks like a game, and you can track your progress. You can compete with your friends, who's doing better in farming.
Well, that sounds interesting. If I would have a game like that, I would for sure have some field in, some city in Thailand for sure.
Good, this is our goal.
It would be better than just playing game, but then you got the real crops.
Exactly. So this is our kind of mission, 5 to 10 years to see that transition.
I see. And how about the funding for this AgriTech? In Thailand, is that enough?
There is more and more funds now focusing on agricultural development. I think Thailand is still behind if we're talking about the region. Let's say Indonesia, Malaysia managed to raise more capital for this, and there are several reasons. But it's picking up. There's a lot of interest now from venture capital locally, but also overseas. So they are scouting and trying to find solutions that could be scalable. I want to encourage people to come into this and just build this ecosystem together. So more young entrepreneurs also to look into agriculture and potentially great opportunity, to help, but also to gain.
I see from Thai government, the BOI department, Board of Investment in Thailand, they are also promoting for this AgriTech. What do you think the future of Thailand in AgriTech? Would it grow, or would it just be slowly growing but doesn't reach like the top 5 in the ASEAN?
So I think government is doing its part. There's a lot of activities, and let's say BOI is also creating more flexible ways for foreign entrepreneurs to come into Thailand as well. Current Thai Agri-Tech ecosystem in general, if we're looking into the map of all the startups through the supply chain, is, in my opinion, very early stage. And there were some recent kind of, not failures, but there were some startups that had to pivot strongly or have to change the business models. So there's a lot of challenge because of, there's just a very big gap of education and knowledge that we need to crunch. We need to find a way to communicate and educate. And I think this is also our mission to educate and teach, because without that, no matter how smart is the technology or how useful is the tool, if no one is using it, no one is using it.
So we, the Spark Show, we hope to be like another support for this Agri-Tech to boost up maybe the Agri-Tech in the future as well. I would like to know more about your company, Gaorai. Can you maybe explain more about like the foundation of the Gaorai? And I saw that you have this Nai Iang. Is it Nai Iang, right?
It's kind of a mixture of symbols, but features related to Hanuman, to bring happiness and luck to Thai people and, well, Southeast Asian people. So that actually how we decided to do Gaorai. As I've mentioned, it was like first a business opportunity. And then we were trying to understand the mindset of Thai people, of Southeast Asian people, and what is important, what is part of the culture, as we wanted to build something for them. I don't want to be a person who comes and says, oh, I come from somewhere far away and you should do your way this way. No, not at all. I tried to learn with them. I tried to assimilate into the culture, and then we did the research. 9 is a lucky number through Southeast Asia. Thai people also have a very special bond with number 9, because of King Rama 9. Rai is a land measurement unit in Thailand as well. So we want to show that this comes from Thailand. Its origin is in Thailand and it's for Thai people. So that's one thing. Another thing is that we also saw that there are many temples. People have beliefs, people have culture, and that Hanuman is kind of like a cheeky, fun, a character that we thought really talks our value.
Wow, that's empowering. And from what I heard from you, you care a lot about culture in Thailand, and that's, I think, really what attract Thai farmers in Thailand. And I think the Spark Show can be like another support from your company as well, and the sustainability of Thailand as well. That's it for today. Maybe you have something to add for the audience?
Firstly, thanks for inviting and having me here today. I'm also happy to share and learn. While I talk, I learn. But if I would like to invite people is perhaps firstly, try to look around yourself and think where the thing that you use come from. Then think about your relatives, about your friends who might be living up the country, and try to think about their lifestyle, their livelihood. What concerns do they have? What needs do they have? Here we have rain, we have umbrella, or we stay inside. But upcountry rain could mean the damage of your next year's income. So supporting communities, supporting local farmers, organizations, being more aware about that. This is something I would like to invite. Also, other organizations or businesses working in this, we are very happy to collaborate in building ecosystem and just joining forces. Yeah.
That's very great. So we have to say goodbye today, and then see you the next EP on the Spark Show. And today we thank you, Mr. Matas, for joining us and giving us information about Agri-Tech. And if you want to know more about Gaorai, you can visit the website gaorai.io, or maybe you can contact to you, Mr. Matas.
Sure. So we are very active in all social media, so Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, wherever you can find information. I'm also open. My email is matas@gaorai.io. If you would like to talk about partnerships, you're welcome.
Well, speaking from CEO himself, so see you next time for the next EP of the Spark Show. Bye bye. สวัสดีค่ะ